obtaining and giving goodwill is something that is going to allow you to build serious relationships. And when I say serious, it's not only long lasting, but it's relationship based on a real intent. Not only, okay, I need your money, I need your service, let's just trade. People call that a relationship. No, we can build something that goes further. When you know the people a bit better, you don't need to become friends and have drinking parties or whatever. Just respecting each other's professional standing, personal situation in the sense of what I want to bring to you. You know, sometimes, and it has happened, I think, to everyone in the world, you see someone and you know that, okay, you're going to do business and that's it, because, you know, within 2 seconds, there is something that's not happening.
Thank you for joining another edition of The Never Ending Climb for a Stronger Supply Chain and Procurement for companies running SAP. Today, we have the pleasure of Dr. Thierry joining us. And Thierry Fausten is joining us from France, and he is striving to make procurement and supply management better. And I know that's something everybody can relate to. Thierry, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Thanks for the invitation. I really look forward to the conversation.
Right on. So you've got so much experience in consulting and training and leading supply chain and procurement. Can you tell me about how you continue your personal improvement journey? What do you do to keep learning?
Oh, hey, that's a great question. The first thing to do is basically to talk to people, and especially to talk to people who have different backgrounds and who, I would say the younger they are, the better questions they have, you know, because they come with way less history, bad habits, and, assumptions. So they always have pointed questions. The other thing, and is to just read, exchange, do some academic work when I can, because this is also helping, you know, to frame and structure the reflection, the questions, and finding new ways to go forward.
Very cool. I think that idea of how you seek out that you bring that natural curiosity is beautiful, because that seeking first to understand before you want to be understood is something that I've always found to be a powerful tool. And that ingrained curiosity helps create space for new ideas. That if you're only in one zone all the time, you miss out on the opportunity to learn new things and get exposed to new ideas, especially the different backgrounds part, right? This cross-pollination of ideas from different areas.
I know, absolutely. It's a chance of having lived in many countries and worked in 4 and several industries. So just, you know, you're in Canada, I'm in Europe. We converse. It's just great. Very easy. We are
That's
blessed
fantastic.
with technology as well.
And we both have the benefit of having a good-looking beard.
Yeah, and some wisdom in our hair as well.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about the way as a leader, as a thought leader, or as a business leader, as a personal leader, how you need to embody that pursuit. So for you, as you're striving to make procurement and supply management better, you have to become somebody that has learned and developed skills and habits and character traits to embody that pursuit, to be the leader that can create the change that you're trying to make in the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you do that?
Oh, as I said, meeting people, working on many different topics, sharing, listening, you know, being very active in these domains, but also when I meet individuals, when I work with companies who struggle, that's usually why they call outside help. It's not only about coming with a solution or the solution. It's helping them to understand what was the roadblock or where the roadblocks, and how can they themselves can come up with the fit for purpose solution. I don't believe in the Gandalf wise guy coming down the mountain and telling the world how it should work. I think it's especially in my field and in procurement, uh, you have to, and when I say you have to, it's part of the mission. Explain how people more or less won't need you again. Can sound counterintuitive when you're in business, but if they don't need you again, they are happy. So it's true as well that most of my customers are repeat customers, so they still need me for other things. But coming back on the core of the question, helping individuals developing their own post-process reflection experience is just enriching the profession, and I just love it.
I think that idea of enriching has such depth to the word too, because the people that are able to go and create the most value for others
Mm-hmm.
are able to share in some of that. And I think the intrinsic value of having left things better than they were, especially in a durable way, is
Mm-hmm.
such an undervalued capability. So thank you for helping share that. And
Thank you.
that I think also comes out from that sense of leadership and showing the way. And that takes a lot of reflection on what you've learned and some things that you either win or you learn, right? And if you learn something, then you need to really have learned it, you need to get better, and you need to demonstrate that you learned it by doing it differently next time. And I think that comes from experience and a strong mindset to be able to show the way. How would you share advice, or what would you say to maybe yourself from 10 or 20 years ago that you think would help other people to help them learn how to show the way?
Oh, uh, listen more. That's really the thing. First thing is really listen more, even today. Um, and then just remember you're serving not yourself, but you're serving customers, you're serving others. You're trying to bring a benefit to the wider community. So even though we are in a capitalist system, we always have an impact. It's on us, it's on others, directly, indirectly. So think about that and just try always to be at your best, if not for you, for others, because you are going to influence others in one way or the other. So make sure that your impact is positive, because that's also somehow part of your legacy.
Absolutely. And I think this idea is sometimes lost in some parts of. I think there's some organizations where maybe the individual outweighs the many, or maybe the individual incentives sometimes can get in the way of the good of others,
Mm-hmm.
and can sometimes get in the way of the best interests of the customer. And I find that to be quite challenging. There's an opportunity for us all to remember there that when you're in service of your customer, it goes a really long way to helping you get the next one.
Oh, clearly. And it's funny because you somehow also refer to office politics, which are the biggest killers of opportunities and goodwill. Because this is also
Yeah,
something that a lot of people are forgetting. Um, Obtaining and giving goodwill is something that is going to allow you to build serious relationships. And when I say serious, it's not only long lasting, but it's relationship based on a real intent. Not only, okay, I need your money, I need your service, let's just trade. People call that a relationship. So we can build something that goes further. Um, when you know the people a bit better, you don't need to become friends and have drinking parties or whatever. Just respecting each other's professional standing,
yeah.
personal situation in the sense of what I want to bring to you. sometimes, and it has happened, I think, to everyone in the world, you see someone and you know that, okay, you're going to do business and that's it, because, within 2 seconds, there is something that's not happening. And sometimes
Yeah.
you meet people and you know that it's going to be more than that. And that's just great. So
Yeah.
that's just part of it. And when you behave in a way of trying to remain open, because we are all there for an intention, a purpose. Money can be one, but if your only pursuit in life is money, I mean, I may sound judgmental, but I'm sorry. Uh, um, so just try to see what good you can give, share, create together in building this, I would say, reasonably professional, good relationships, because you only come out a better professional and a better person.
Yeah. I find the what to do and what not to do that you've described there really important, because there's a lot of people that focus too much on politics or focus on what's in it for them or optimizing their department. And when instead you focus on, well, we have these shared goals, we work in this organization or between two organizations that have a shared goal of helping a group or helping a customer. And this idea that we get what we focus on. And
Mhm.
sometimes when we sit with some of the organizations that we help, we hear people talking about how that department is trying to screw us and this other department is going to block us from doing this thing. And well, guess what? Everybody's going to block everybody if that's what everybody's focusing on. Instead of saying, guys, we need to go and figure out how we're all going here, and it's us against the problem. It's not us against each other. And I think when we can be a catalyst to go and help create that alignment and remind people that we're trying to get there. We have to acknowledge that there's different interests in departments, but we have to build bridges, not blow them up. And
Now,
the
sure,
way that
sure.
we as leaders talk has such an impact on the way our teams behave.
Yes, and I want to add, it's not only about how you talk, it's mostly how you behave. Because you
Yes.
can say anything, if you behave differently, people show what you do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way you learn, okay, you hear something, you hear it, you see it, it's a bit different, and then you do it, you really learn about it. So when you embody what you preach, and as you were saying, building bridges, working together, finding the common goal, yeah, these are, I would say, the basics of leadership. They are not always easy, because for this you need to imagine a really common goal and pursuit. And it's funny because in the procurement world, we are very often seen as the people who say no, the people who block, the people who have processes, the people who have crazy systems sometimes. All of this is partially yes, partially no, true, not true, but mostly it's because we don't take the time to understand why we do that. Why do we ask you about, what's really important to you? It's not just to bother you, it's just to help you also think about what is really important for you. And how are we going to get the best solution for you? And then, for your customer, for whoever is going to benefit from your better performance thanks to you having the right thing. And we don't, and when I say we, is I put myself in it. Don't always take the time to explain that calmly, and just, okay, guys, let's create something brilliant. And there are many very good examples, and there are so many very less good examples. But that's life, and that's why it's a pursuit.
Yeah. I love the emphasis on show the way. It's so
Mhm.
important. So, Thierry, is there one more thing that you would really want leaders in procurement to remember in terms of how to focus on the customer?
Yeah, that's a very difficult one. I think Yeah, focusing on the customer is an important point when you have a customer in your organization. But focusing on the co-creation of something, I'm just going to give an example. Years ago, I was working in an engineering company making automotive systems, and we created a new braking system. And when I say we, it's engineering guys, testing guys, manufacturing guys, suppliers, and okay, a bit of procurement too. Uh, and we just did that without any complexity, without 200 pages contracts, without confidentiality agreements, NDAs, all the things that come to make your life difficult. The idea we all shared was we want to do something no one has ever done before. But just go for it. And it was a significant amount of efforts, but by creating this idea of we are going all together to do it, we did it. And it was one of the best working experiences I ever had.
Fantastic. Thierry, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing your wisdom and experience. And I hope that all of you have taken something from this conversation to go and help you on your never-ending climb to be the leader that your team needs you to be and to create the change in the world, leaving things better than you were on your own never-ending climb. Thank you again. This has been another edition of the Never-Ending Climb for a Stronger Supply Chain and Procurement for companies running SAP. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you.